It's so funny, man, because clearly we've been the best two teams in the state the last 2 years. We just didn't get here last year. We didn't finish the job as far as getting to the game. Most of the rankings for the last 2 years have been us, Hayfield. Everybody wanted to see it. We made it happen. And everybody thought that it was going to be one of these high-scoring affairs. And I kept saying, guys, I know it's been a long time ago, but I played in some state championship games back as a player, and they just aren't. The kids aren't used to the environment. It's a different shooting environment. It's a different type of everything that you got, the depth perception. So, I knew that it was going to come down to if you could execute and get stops. And, we just didn't make enough shots. That's what you got to score the basketball. And I thought that we did a decent job. We held a team that averages 70 points a game to 52. The problem is we score 41. It's just sometimes it just happens that way, and they're a very good basketball team and very talented. But I thought that we had our opportunities and we just didn't capitalize on them the way that we should have.
Questions?
Coach, what did they do differently from the first time you played them defensively in some other games you've watched on film that didn't let you get into a flow offensively? Anything differently they did?
I don't think so. I don't think what they did messed our flow up. I think we just didn't finish around the basket. I mean, if you look at probably the shot chart, we probably had a lot of missed shots in the paint. And that's what we've been killing people with points in the paint this season. We just, it happens. Nasir did everything he could to try to keep us in it. Jay did a heck of a job in the second half, and he was able to play more minutes with foul trouble. Unfortunately for both of these guys, they were saddled with some fouls, and, we're not going to talk too much about how I feel about them. But, they didn't get to play the amount of minutes that they normally would, but when they did, they were highly effective. You could see how much impact they had on the game. So, I know that some of them didn't have the games that they hoped to have in the last game for these two, and obviously for Caden Bates, but I told them they don't have anything to be ashamed of, man. It's like, this is my 7th season, and I remember what it was like when I first got the job. Everybody wanted to schedule us so they could blow us out. That's how it was when I first got here. They won 3 games a season before we got to the Patriot. To think about where we've come as a basketball program to being a perennial top 3 team, to being a team that everybody's talking about has a chance to win the state championship. I know it's not going to make these guys feel any better, but it's things I try to reflect on in these type of moments. And obviously, their futures are very bright. I can go on and on about how much they should be getting recruited right now, especially this one right here, an all-state guard. He's going to be again for the 2nd year in a row. Jay is a ridiculous athlete, so if people aren't blowing my phone up and trying to beat down the door to get them to come play at the next level, it's going to be very interesting when they're upset, when they see how well they're going to be when they're starting to play at that level.
Did Hayfield speed y'all up and frustrate you more with the 20 turnovers, or what did you see on that front?
We turn it over. They're a very physical defensive team. And if they're allowed to play the way that they do with the hands and the reaching and the activity that they do, it's very difficult to deal with because a lot of those look like, they turn it over. Well, sometimes guys get bumped and those calls might have been a little bit different in a different scenario. In these situations in the state championship, you're seeing refs that you haven't seen all season. They were from Virginia Beach, and we haven't seen Virginia Beach crew yet. They call games a little bit different. Richmond refs call a little bit different. Stafford calls it different. Our guys call it different. Then you go up into Fairfax with Cardinal, they call it different. We had to try to make the adjustment. Obviously, they've been in this situation before, but, we had to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. But it's, the way we practice every day, if somebody's speeding us up, we speed ourselves up every day in practice. We just turned it over today. And some days it happens like that. So, it's not taking anything away from them. They're a great basketball team, obviously winning back-to-back state championships, but I'm not coming out as being like, man, they really forced us to do these things. I feel like we kind of hurt ourselves a little bit more than it was something that they did.
Yeah, question for any of the players. When you hear your coach speak so highly of you, especially after a game like this, just tell me what that means to you.
Go ahead, Nas, you got it.
Say the question again.
Sure. When you hear your coach again speak so highly of you, highly of the effort after a game like this, just tell me what that means to you to have a coach like that behind your back and the players beside you.
I think it means the world. You know what I'm saying? We try to come in the gym every day and give our all. You know what I'm saying? We listen to everything he says, try to take it in, even when it's negative, positive. We just try to take in all we can, and then just try to apply it into our games. But after a game like this, I feel like it means the world to show that he really gives us his all and has the best interest in us.
My question's for Isaiah. As you know, you're a junior on this team. As being able to play with Jay, Nas, Caden, and them being the three main lower vocal leaders and leaders in their own right, what have you learned from them as this upcoming year become one of the main leaders of this Patriot program next year?
I learned a lot, just them, being there, just being on us every practice, every workout, just makes me just become a better leader for next year. So they taught me a lot. I love them, and they taught me a lot. So hopefully I can, replace that role as a leader next year.
And then my final question is for Jay and Nas. As the seniors on the program, it's a little bit different type of question. What was your favorite part or your favorite memory from playing for Patriot Pioneer basketball team?
My favorite probably was last year winning that regional championship. That was our second one. It'll always be a memory that'll come to my head.
Yeah, I'll definitely say this year, the regional championship, when we knew the last 30 seconds when the coach got back on defense that we were going to VCU, so that was probably one of my best memories.
Anything else about the game? Thanks, guys.